successively added 4 medical officers and 1 surgeon, making a total of 26. This violates Article 73, 2C, Roman 1 of the Constitution on honesty in execution of public duties. C, that Mr. George Kioko Luka has let the board operate without a substantive accounting officer and went into an alliance with the secretary who has usurped the powers of both the chief executive officer of the secretariat and the accounting officer to serve his interests at the expense of professionalism expected in the institution. This is a demonstration of incompetence on his part. D, that Mr. George Kioko Luka has constituted an enterprise in the name of recruitment and selection that is normally used for illegal dealings and illegal recruitment. It is simply a criminal enterprise that no law provides for and a serious violation of the law. E, that on the 26th February 2021, Mr. George Kioko Luka unprocedurally purported to allocate an official vehicle to the Vice Chair, motor vehicle KBX 810T, for the single purpose of facilitating the hiring of her son, Samson Sereka, as a driver. Consequently, he was hired on a 3-year contract at Job Group D. The officer was not qualified for the job. This violates Article 73(2)A of the Constitution on selection on the basis of personal integrity, competence, and suitability. F, the chairperson facilitated the hiring of 9 officers, among them the son of the vice chairperson, Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, being Boniface Mutunkei Sereka of ID 299612333, through abuse of delegated authority on 6 August 2020. The officers were employed on contract effective 4th January 2021 to September 2022. The son was employed at entry level of Job Group K without the necessary qualifications. On the 5th October 2021, in a meeting convened and chaired by the vice chairperson, mother to Boniface Mutunkei, the terms of the 9 officers were illegally changed to permanent and pensionable terms. This is without regard to the fact that the officers were all being employed in a constitutional office whose term was to end in August 2022. This is abuse of office and violation of national values and principles of governance as provided for in Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. G, the chairperson has failed to address the county's huge wage bill, which is currently at 55.4% instead of 35%, according to Regulation 25(1)B of Public Finance Management, County Government's Regulations of 2015. Instead, he has been presiding over the payment of huge amounts of money in terms of illegal, extraneous, and other allowances to his relatives, among Regina Mwakio Kioko and the vice chairperson's relative, as well as others working for different considerations. For instance, most employees of the County Public Service Board are on extraneous allowances, despite the fact that they report to work at 8 a.m. and leave at 5 p.m. A look at the list of 13 among them is his daughter, includes cleaners who are put on extraneous allowance for just doing what they were employed to do. This is violation of national values and principles of governance as provided for in Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. H, that Mr. George Kioko Luka, being the chairperson of the County Public Service Board, has never reported to the County Assembly through a report on the extent to which the values and principles referred to in Articles 10 and 232 are complied in the County Assembly. This is according to Section 59(1)(f) of the County Government Acts 2012. This is violation of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, aware that Mr. Onesimus Muya Mutisia, the Secretary of the Machakos County Public Service Board, has committed the following offenses. A, that Mr. Onesimus Muya Mutisia, on 27 April 2020, wrote to the Chief Officer, Department of Public Service and Quality Management, to unlawfully occasion illegal payments of extraneous allowances to 24 officers working in the County Public Service Board, including himself. This is a serious violation on Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya. That Mr. Onesimus Muya Mutisia illegally and lawfully listed himself as a beneficiary of extraneous allowances of Kenya shillings 25,000 per month, knowing well that the board members are not entitled to the allowance and without knowledge of other board members. This contravenes Article 232(1) A and B on the values and principles of public service, being high standards of professional ethics, efficient, effective, and use of economic resources. C, that Mr. Onesimus Muya has listed one, Mr. Joseph Wambua, Deputy Secretary, CEO, for extraneous allowances of Kenya shilling 25,000, knowing very well that such a position does not exist in the board, and therefore that would be a violation of law. This is misuse of public funds, violation of the Constitution, and incompetence. D, that Mr. Onesimus Muya Mutisia was involved in the awarding of extraneous allowances to 13 officers, including the daughter of board chairperson, Ms. Regina Wakio Kioko, and dishonestly concealing the surname to hide identity. This is violation of Chapter 6 of the Constitution and misuse of public funds. E, that Mr. Onesimus Muya Mutisia wrote to the Chief Officer, Department of Public Service and Quality Management on the 13th July 2020 to deceitfully purport to reinstate to the payroll 4 officers, claiming that there was a court order to that effect, but where none existed. The said officers had never been in the county's payroll, and the same had been communicated by the CECM Public Service. This contravenes the provisions of Article 10 and 232 of the Constitution of Kenya. F, that in the month of August 2021, Mr. Onesimus Muya Mutisia was accused of sexual harassment and intimidation by 2 officers through letters to the county secretary and the county executive committee member for public service and quality management, which letters were copied to all board members through their individual emails, together with evidence in form of electronic messages. The officers were Helen Musau and Caroline Nduku Nzioka. This contravenes the provisions of Article 232(1)A and 236 of the Constitution of Kenya on the values and principles of public service. This is also gross misconduct. That by a letter dated 12 May 2021, Ms. Caroline Nduku Nzioka was promoted to the position of Human Resource Management Assistant 1 with effect from 1st January 2021. But her letter, was held by Mr. Onesimus Mutisia, during which time he was demanding for sexual favors from her. When the same did not succeed and she reported the matter, he went ahead and purported to withdraw the same via a letter dated 22nd September 2021 without the due process. This is a serious violation of Article 236B of the Constitution of Kenya. H, that Mr. Onesimus Muya Mutisia unprofessionally uses intimidation and incompetently handles official matters in a way that would jeopardize the operations of the board. He threatened members of the board through advocates to sue when board members are on different or are of different opinion on a matter under consideration. This shows clearly he is incompetent and abuses the office of the Secretary, County Public Service Board. That Mr. Onesimus Muya Mutisia, being the Secretary of the County Public Service Board, has never reported to the County Assembly through a report on the extent to which the values and principles referred to in Articles 10 and 232 are complied in the County Assembly. This is according to Section 59(1)(f) of the County Government Act. This is a violation of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, further aware that Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, a member of the Machakos County Public Board, has committed the following offenses. That Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka did not declare conflict of interest during a sitting of 6 August 2022 in the Recruitment and Selection Committee, where her son, Mr. Boniface Mutunkei Sereka, was an applicant and was later recruited. This violates Article 73(2)(c), Roman 2 of the Constitution on declaration of personal interest that may conflict with public duties. B, that on 5th October 2021, Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka convened a committee meeting under career progression, and the terms of employment of Mr. Boniface Mutunkei Sereka was changed from contract to permanent and pensionable. This also violates Article 73(2)(c) Roman 2 of the Constitution on declaration of personal interest that may conflict with public duties. C, that on 17th March 2021, under minute number 293/03/2021, the Recruitment and Selection Committee deliberated on the matter of appointment of a driver. This was based on the misinterpretation that the chairperson was a person living with a disability. The committee recommended a personal driver to serve with the official car allocated to her by the chairman, motor vehicle KBX 810T. The deceitful act was made to benefit her and facilitate the hiring of yet another of her sons, namely Samson Sereka, on job group D. This also violates Article 73(c) 2C Roman 2 of the Constitution on declaration of personal interest that may conflict with public duties. D, the above appointments was meant to benefit the vice chairperson through appointment of her son. The said son was not qualified for the position, nor was the recruitment competitively done for the benefit of the said officer. It is also worth noting that the members of the County Public Service Board have not been provided with official vehicles, and therefore motor vehicle registration number KBX 810 was simply towed to the premises to facilitate the appointment of the son of the vice chairperson. This is serious violation of Article 10 and Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya and gross misconduct. E, that on 5th October 2021, Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka convened a meeting under career progression and gave extraneous allowances to a group of employees, among them the daughter of chairperson of County Public Service Board, Regina Wakio Kioko, Deputy Sub-County Administrator, under job group P of Kenya shilling 25,000, dated back to 1st July 2021. This had been declined earlier in December 2022. This violates Article 73(2)(b) of the Constitution on objectivity and impartiality in decision making. F, that Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, being the vice chairperson of the County Public Service Board, has never reported to the County Assembly through a report on the extent to which the values and principles referred to in Articles 10 and 232 are complied in the County Assembly. This is according to Section 59(1)(f) of the County Government Act 2012. This is violation of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, further aware that Ms. Stella Ndinda Mudhoka, a member of Machakos County Public Service Board, has committed the following offenses. A, that Ms. Stella Ndinda Mudhoka was a chairperson of the Recruitment and Selection Committee, which during a meeting of 26 February 2021 approved appointment of a driver for the vice chairperson, who is Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, one Samson Sereka, on job group D. The position had not been advertised. Samson Sereka is a son to Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, hence conflict of interest. This violates Article 73, 2C, Roman 2 of the Constitution on declaration of personal interest that may conflict with public duties. B, that on 17th March 2021, chaired by Ms. Stella Ndinda Mudhoka under minute number 293/03/2021, the Recruitment and Selection Committee deliberated on the matter of appointment of a driver. This was based on misinterpretation that a vice chairperson was a person living with disability. The committee recommended a personal driver to serve with the official car allocated to her by the chairman, motor vehicle KBX 810T. No certificate from Council of Persons Living with Disability was presented to warrant for appointment of a personal driver. This is a violation of Article 10, Chapter 6, and Article 232 of the Constitution. That Ms. Stella Ndinda Mudhoka has been involved in undertakings of the Machakos County Public Service Board. There was abuse of office, misappropriation of funds through A, approval of extraneous allowances for specific officers, yet the officers working on the normal office hours and perform the duties listed in their appointment letters. B, recruitment of officers without following the right criteria. C, promotion of officers without following the provision of existing laws and circulars. D, appointment of Mr. Joseph Wambua as the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the County Public Service Board, yet such office does not exist in the Constitution and County Government Act. This is misuse of public funds, gross misconduct, and violation of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. E, reinstating 4 officers claiming that there was a court order to that effect, but none existed. The said officers had never been in the county's payroll, and the CECM Public Service had communicated the same. This contravenes the provisions of Article 10 and Article 232 of the Constitution of Kenya. F, recruitment of 5 extra officers against an advertisement of 21 positions, 20 medical officers and 1 general surgeon. The advertisement closed on 23rd May 2021. After the closure of the exercise, 4 medical officers, 1 surgeon were added to the list, making it a total of 26. This violates Article 73, 2C, Roman 1 of the Constitution on honesty in execution of public duties. G, has never reported to the County Assembly through a report on the extent to which the values and principles referred in Articles 10 and 232 are complied in the County Assembly. This is violation of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Article 251(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and Section 58, subsection 5 of the County Government Acts 2012, I wish to move a motion that this House resolves to recommend removal from office by the Governor of the following. Number 1, Mr. George Kioko Luka, Chairperson, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution, gross misconduct, and incompetence. Number 2, Mr. Onesimus Muya Mutesia, Secretary, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution, gross misconduct, and incompetence. Number 3, Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, Member, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution and gross misconduct. Number 4, Ms. Stella Nduku Mudhoka, member, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution and gross misconduct. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what we've brought before the House is a serious matter of county importance. And before I ask for a seconder, I wish to say that our Public Service Board is crippling operations of the county government of Machakos. When we went for the lunch break, and I was able to go to my private office in town, in fact, word on the street is that a staff member of the Secretariat has been arrested by the police for soliciting for a bribe so that they can influence the employment of chief officers. I think this board, from that perspective, need serious reconstitution. Madam Speaker, I would request my brother, the Honorable Brian Kisila, to second me.
Honorable Brian Kisila, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. My name is Brian Kisila, a ranking member of this assembly representing the people of Mwala. Madam Speaker, I stand here to second the motion which our majority leader has placed in this assembly. And when the majority leader gave us a notice in the morning, I actually went to my archives and I did some research on some work we did as a second assembly on the same service board. And Madam Speaker, we did a report but it was done by Labor, Public Service, and ICT Committee. And the grounds which the majority leader is raising were the same grounds which were raised in this report. Madam Speaker, just to highlight a few issues, if you allow me, there were serious allegations on this report of sexual harassment, alleged sexual harassment made by members of the public, members of the board, especially the secretary, to various employees of the county. There were also allegations made by members of the public against some members of the county service board. And also they were also looking at measures to be put in place to ensure equal treatment of the county public service board. Madam Speaker, it came out very clear in this report, and a lot of people underrate this assembly. A lot of people think we do reports for the sake of reports. But I want to assure everybody and warn people that what goes around comes around. And it is a time now we bring out real issues and ensure that the integrity of public officers is above board, especially those we charge with the responsibility of employing and even promoting people within the county assembly. Madam Speaker, I want to quote one example which came out on this report before I submit. There was irregularities in the appointment of county public service. Madam Speaker, some members who had no qualifications were given higher job groups and given higher salaries when they didn't qualify. In this report, one Madam Helen Mudeu Musau, was employed as a senior human resources manager, job group L, earning a salary of 61,910. When in essence, her qualifications was Form 4, grade C plane. Ideally, this job should have attracted a minimum of a degree. If you look at the job group which this lady qualified was supposed to be earning 19,010. If you compute the differential in the amount of money she was being paid, she was earning a difference of almost earning extra salary, which she didn't deserve, of 42,900. For the months she had worked, which is 84 months, she had earned irregular amount of money, coming to 3,603,000 shillings. Madam Speaker, another lady, I'm just summing up, another lady by the name Caroline Dukunzioka. Her qualification is D minus. She was employed as a clerical officer, earning 40,910. When, with the qualifications she was having, she should have been earning 16,660. If you compute the differential in salary, that young lady was earning a differential of amount for 84 months of 2,035,000. Madam Speaker, yesterday I was in the education committee, and the education committee are struggling to employ ECD teachers. And here is one person who is earning a differential of 40,000 when we don't have money to pay for ECD teachers. We don't even have money to pay for health workers. This is a gross violation of the Constitution and the role which people have been placed to handle. Madam Speaker, in summing up, the committee made several recommendations in the last assembly. And one of them was to hold any further recruitment from occurring while the Public Service Board produces evidence why they should not be impeached or why they should not be dissolved. Madam Speaker, I submit that I second that time has come that we do the right thing. And whoever thinks that chapter 6 is just a joke will have it very rough with this assembly. Madam Speaker, I second this motion with the strongest terms possible. And I urge this honorable member, honorable House, to pass it so that we can get to deeper into it and ensure that sanity returns in this assembly, and also that will bring down the escalating wage bill, which is crippling this county, and very little amount of money is left for development. To date, if you get the numbers of our wage bill, there is very little left for Her Excellency the Governor to pursue development agenda. So, Madam Speaker, I second.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Brian Kisila. And I want to believe that the recommendations by that committee were implemented to an extent that
Madam Speaker, unfortunately, the second assembly's recommendations fell in deaf ears all the time. Fell in deaf ears. In fact, if we were to look at all the recommendations we did, most of them were not followed. It's very unfortunate, Madam Speaker. They assumed this assembly, and maybe it's a high time we stamp our authority on the executive.
It's unfortunate that that was never done, because those violators were not only supposed to be, they were supposed to be made to account for, even for that money surcharged, to pay back the money that they had received illegally. Yeah, so it's a failure by the Second Assembly. So, Mheshimiwa Kavi, what do you want to say? I wanted to propose the question, then you can debate. Yeah. So, may I now propose the question that the House resolves to recommend removal from office by the governor of the following. 1, Mr. George Kioko Luka, Chairperson, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution, gross misconduct, and incompetence. 2, Mr. Onesmus Muia Mutisia, Secretary, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the ground of serious violation of the Constitution, gross misconduct, and incompetence. 3, Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, Member, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution and gross misconduct. Ms. Stella Nduku Modhoka, Member, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution and gross misconduct. I now want to invite members to debate the motion. The members to your floor, Mheshimiwa Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. My name is Judas Ndawa, the MCA, Matu Ward. Madam Speaker, I start by saying I support the motion, and the reason why I'm supporting the motion, the issues raised here are pertinent and serious issues. They should not be taken lightly. Honorable Speaker, by look of the contents of the motion, we have two elements here. Honorable Speaker, we have criminal element, and we also have civil element on this matter. Honorable Speaker, the issue of somebody requesting to be given consideration for something or for work that he or she is earning salary, that is criminal. From the report, Madam Speaker, we can see one CEO, I don't want to mention the name, want to be given something by an applicant who want to be assisted, at least two. That is very unfair, Honorable Speaker, and that should not be allowed. I would have used a better word, but because we have kids in the gallery, I'll just spare the word. But that is very, very, very unfair, Honorable Speaker. The other issue, the issue of somebody doing what is not supposed to do, that matter lies under law of tort. And he taught, Honorable Speaker, you are a lawyer by profession. A tort is a civil wrong and is concerned about three things. It is concerned about defamation, it is concerned about trespass, and is concerned about negligence. Honorable Speaker, I won't talk about defamation, and I won't talk about trespass. I will dwell on the issue of negligence. Honorable Speaker, in simple translation, negligence is either by omission or commission. You are assigned to do a certain task and you fail to do that task. That is negligence. you are assigned to do a certain task, and you do it wrongly, that is negligence. We have seen here issues of negligence. And I would propose, the majority leader here is requesting the House to resolve to remove these commissioners from office. But I would add, let's remove them and also charge them in court of law for the mistake they are doing to our people. If the body that is charged with employing and promoting our officers is the one which is behaving this way, Honorable Speaker, there is a lot of joke here. And this one should not be allowed to continue anymore. Honorable Speaker, the other thing I've seen, some of the actions, that is what we call ultra-fires actions. We can see the commissioner, the chairperson, issuing or allowing things that should not be allowed. There is the issue of what we call nepotism. You are given an opportunity to employ employees, and instead of allowing those poor kids, you are taking your own son, your own daughter. Don't we have other ladies in this county who have kids who can be employed in this position? We have seen from the report a commissioner here who is purported to be the vice chair. Instead of employing a son of another poor lady or poor man, she is employing her own son. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to issue of employment, if you are to take part in that process and you have interest, the only and fair thing one has to do is to declare interest. Let it be minuted in the minutes of that proceeding that so and so, or so and so, the person who is seeking to be employed here is my son. So you cannot take part in the entire deliberation if that is your son. You will influence other members. You are supposed to declare and move out of that and leave other members. And that particular person, because of the factor of the mother being a commissioner, may not be able to get that job. Because if the child is given that job, it will appear that the mother has influenced. Honorable Speaker, there is a big joke here. This is a big and serious matter. Right now we are getting information that part of the commission, I don't know whether whoever has been arrested is a member of the commission or is a proxy of the commission. The person has been bribed 50,000 shillings today, and he was arrested together with the money. There was treated money, and you know how the police handle the issues. This is a serious proof that the motion before us meet the threshold set in Article 251 of the Constitution, as read together with Section 58 of the County Government Act. Oh, what is said there, the motion meets that criteria. And Madam Speaker, I would request, there is a verse in the Bible. I'm neither a pastor nor do I wish to be one, but there is a verse in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs. My brother here is an expert in that field. In book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 17, which says, the first person to speak in court seems to be right until the opponent is given an opportunity to give his side of story. So, Madam Speaker, according to this report, everything seems to be okay. So what I'm recommending, Madam Speaker, is you to make a determination so as to not to open a loophole for somebody to say I was not given an opportunity to air my side of story. I'm requesting that you order that we form an ad hoc committee that can summon these commissioners each at our own time, so that it can have ample time to give us their side of story. Then from what Mheshimiwa Brian said here, Honorable Speaker, when I was school, I came to learn that there is a difference between minutes and resolutions. Resolutions, once you make a resolutions, you implement. Minutes, you can write minutes. No, not minutes. Minutes and resolutions must be implemented. But in notes, you can take notes and fail to need to do anything to that. Let us ensure that all the resolutions that we pass in this house are implemented to the latter. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to dwell much on this. I just want to support the motion and say, if this is what has been happening for all that period, our people of Machakos have suffered. Honorable Speaker, there is a team which went for interview from our Department of Health, clinical officers, about 35 of them. It's only one who managed, they went for promotion. It's only one who managed to be promoted, and it's because he paid for another consideration. He parted with something. All others, 34, they were all failed. The reason given, you are in school, you are schooling, and nobody in school, out of the 34, none is schooling. So, Honorable Speaker, this CEO is the most notorious person in that commission, and it should be dealt with accordingly and cacamoniously. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. And I want to report to you that we shall give everyone an opportunity to defend themselves. Fairness will be seen to be done. I've not called you in the... I want to distribute this fairly. And I want to give some of our members who have not had an opportunity so frequently to say something. Mary, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for catching my hand. My name is Mary Kituku, nominated by UDA. Utterly ashamed that in this century, women still are subjected to sexual harassment to get promotions and jobs. It is unfortunate. We have outgrown this, and I want to applaud the House for catching this, and I believe justice is going to be served to the officers Helen Musau and Caroline Dukunzoka. I would also want to applaud them in absentia for reporting this. It is not easy for women to go and say, I'm being sexually harassed to get a promotion, because they risked going home. And thank you once more to this House.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Kaviu, then Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa 001, you wait until Kaviu says what they have to say.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute on this. And welcome to the Assembly, the school from Kaviuni. I think my grandfather could have come from that place. I don't own the school. But the matters that have been raised before this House are serious allegations that have been raised on people who have been appointed to serve and spearhead the issues of human resource issues as pertaining to this county. And thank you, Majority Leader, for bringing this to light. But Madam Speaker, sometimes back in this same assembly, a similar matter was brought, discussed, and probably the board that was there was also sent home. But that never cured the problem that we have. The same allegations or grievances that are being raised today concerning the current board.
Point of information. Point of information, Madam Speaker.
Mheshimiwa Kavyu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I just wanted to inform the honorable member
Mheshimiwa.
we've, according to research and the information that I have is this county assembly has never debated on impeachment of any service board, county public service board. So the board in place is just a board that was recruited by this after the expiry of term of the first service board. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa Kavyu, restrict yourself to the subject.
Thank you. Thank you, DS, for that. And the issues that have been raised today in this house are serious issue, and I would like to concur with the members who have spoken before me that if the allegations are proved to be true, then the law must take its course. But Madam Speaker, I would like to seek clarity on two issues. One, the complainant or the source of the report that has been tabled before this house. And number two, Public Service Commission is a composition of 6 members. Would like also to get details or reason why only 4 are on trial, yet a single person in that board cannot execute a mandate. And the person, one of the person who has been omitted, I think is one of the person that is being alleged to have been nabbed by the police officers trying to look for bribe. So if it is a case of discussing about the Public Service Board of Machakos, nothing that can happen without an approval of the board. If there are violations of the law regarding to the recruitment or any activities of the board, then we should have the 6 members on trial, because they were appointed some times back, and there is nowhere in record the 2 who are not on this list are recorded for having raised the issue. Because
Point of information. Proceed. Mr. Kavyu, just have a seat briefly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to inform the honorable member who is seated next to me that this County Public Service Board is a legal entity. And in our constitution, you cannot disband a single entity. There is what we call rotational basis. Even if you go to these public limited companies, you cannot send all the directors home. We need what you call continuity. In our constitution, or rather our constitution, recognizes different types of persons. We have the natural person, who is somebody like myself and like yourself, and we have artificial persons. The difference between a natural person and an artificial person, there is what we call in a Latin language, that is law. Personalis molita cum persona. That means the rights of a natural person dies with the person. And the rights of an artificial person do not die and do not disappear. So we cannot say we'll move all the commissioners and leave that legal entity with no office bearer. I think that was important, and I want to inform you about that.
Thank you for that information, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you for that information, Bwana Minority Leader. But if somebody, if whatever allegation has been said, because if that person is collecting bribe and is part of a board, then even if we need continuity of a board, it will be wrong to retain such a person because it's going to perpetuate. And all the allegation, what Madam Speaker, I would like to see clarity.
Point of information, Madam Speaker.
Point of order.
Yes.
Point of information.
Point of order. Madam Speaker, I think if in my motion, I mentioned the 4 members because I had what I think is substantive evidence. And I would think that if the Honorable Deputy Minority Leader wished to include the other 2 members, he needs to move a substantive motion so that they come and discuss. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Of course, there has to be evidence that you're bringing before the House that makes them culpable. So it is not a matter of mentioning people and maybe hearing. I just want to advise. Maybe you have heard some story that somebody has been arrested. We do not have intangible evidence before us so that for us to be able to bring them on board and be part of the people we are right now discussing. Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's good that you have highlighted the issue of it is not our mistake that we are asking this question.
Sure.
A report has been read for us, and I don't think it's a crime for us to seek clarity so that if we are going to prosecute
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
this,
Point of order,
we
Madam
will
Speaker.
have.
Madam Speaker, I did not provide a report to this House. What I did is to move a motion. I did not provide any report to this House.
And Madam Speaker,
Maybe I could come in between and say, Honorable Kaviu wanted clarification, which I think that's what is coming out from most of the members.
yes, and unless
Why
Madam
is so
Speaker,
and so not there, and why is so and so? And I think you have adequately been answered. I suggest we move to bring the
Madam
point
Speaker,
of- yes.
unless they allow me to finish, because
I'm the one allowing you to finish by telling you to conclude and go to the point, because the clarification you've been seeking has been made concerning why 4 and not 6.
yes,
Yes.
and the other one that I would like is the source of the report
The source of
that was
information,
read.
I want to give you the answers to this. The source of this information that the majority leader brought to the table is available. You can respond to that.
Yes.
Majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the Honourable Member is putting the cart before the horse. I would suggest that if this House approves the formation of the committee,
Is the information, the source of information available?
I would think that if this House approves the formation of the committee, we shall avail all that information to the committee.
The answer I want from you is
Yes, it is available. Yes, it is
Thank you.
available.
You have answered him. Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That is what we wanted.
Yes.
Because as an House, we cannot debate on a report that is not substantiated.
Yes.
And number 2, I think I've moved from that. Maybe you can allow me to move to the...
Have you moved from that?
Yes.
Proceed.
Moving to the next thing.
Yes.
The issue of the board not reporting the report that they are supposed to share with this assembly, that's also something, Madam Speaker, if it's available, that is something we can confirm with our officers here, if that has been happening. And lastly, Madam Speaker,
Yes.
I don't think it is a crime when you are a prominent person or you are a senior person in this county. It is not a crime for your daughter or your son to be a worker in the county assembly of
It is the
in
manner
this
in which
place.
they were being appointed.
Kindly
That is
allow me
question.
to finish, Madam Speaker, because there is what I'm trying to drive.
Okay.
And if I can be allowed to finish,
Yes.
it is not a crime.
It is not.
Because these are sons and daughters of Machakos County. So if there are no sufficient evidence, because the person who is being alleged to have been employed by the board irregularly.
Of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order. Point of order. I think the Honorable Deputy
Which order are you rising on, Majority Leader?
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Because
Honorable Kavyu, be seated.
Madam Speaker is rising on a point of order.
Yes.
He also needs to confirm
I'm
which
rising.
order
I am rising
which
because
is standing.
I'm
Confirm the
rising.
order.
I am rising because I'm the mover of the motion, and the Honorable member is
You
misleading.
raised a point of order,
He's
Bwana
misleading the
Majority Leader.
House.
Just be
He's
seated.
misleading the House.
He raised on a point of order, Madam
Honorable
Speaker.
Kavyu, I ask you to sit down. Sit, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I'm rising to say that the Honorable member is, trying to punch holes to the motion. He's either supposed to, support or not support, and wait for you to put the question as to whether we are going to form the committee or not. It is not at this stage that he's supposed to. What I was proposing as a move of the House is the formation of the committee, and not asserting evidence, putting out evidence here. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You are raising your hand on is it you are giving an information or what is it? Yes. Okay. All right.
Thank you. So,
Proceed and restrict yourself, please, to the. You are either supporting or you're not supporting.
Madam Speaker, I think the previous speakers who have spoken on this floor of the House
Yes.
were given time to expound before they support or oppose the motion. So, first, I would like to say I oppose the motion. And I would like to request this House, as I sit down,
Sure.
let's not allow ourselves to disagree to become a rubber stamp or a tool that will be used
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
by members
Point
who
of order,
have
Madam
their own
Speaker.
interest to use the House to prosecute. So I would recommend that if there are serious violation of the Constitution, let's have a committee, either on labor or on your recommendation. We can have an ad hoc
Point of
committee
information, Madam Speaker.
that will check. And Madam Speaker, as I sit down, there is also a task force that is investigating on the same matters that we are issuing. We'll also like your direction on the same. I oppose the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. What is before us, members, before we move further, is a motion to approve the motion. Then we proceed and have that committee you're talking about handle the matter. Then the people who have been accused or mentioned here will be given an opportunity to defend themselves and say what they know. There is nobody who is going to, we are not prosecuting. This is not a House that is prosecuting the matter. We are purely approving the motion or disapproving it.
Yes.
If it goes to another level, then there's also a machinery for it at that level.
Madam Speaker, I'm guided, but on the same,
Yes.
I think we have a functional sectoral committee that
We are getting there.
Point of information,
would
Madam
have checked
Speaker.
into the matter
Please.
We are getting there.
before
We are very
Point of
far from
information.
there.
that side.
Mheshimiwa,
Point of information,
we are
Madam
getting
Speaker.
there.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Katangi 001.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Felix Ngui, representing the people of Katangi. Madam Speaker, as I contribute to this motion, I'm shocked to hear the Honorable Member for Kinanie say that he does not support the motion, and hence is number 2 for signing for this impeachment motion in this House. Mr. Speaker, as I come to the issues raised in this motion, I would say that this motion is timely, and it highlights matters of great concern to our public service. Madam Speaker, a lot of allegations has been cited here, and Mr. Speaker, as you guide this House, I would request that the committee that you are going to assign duties to look into the matters that are alleged to this report, they also look deeper to more details and maybe invite the public to give more information. Madam Speaker, I happen to know some of the members or the commissioners of the County Public Service Board that is being alleged to have gross misconduct and violation of our Constitution. And Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, touchy to some of the members, I haven't to have interacted with the so-called vice chair in this House, and I want to recommend to the committee that you are going to form to look into the academic qualifications of the vice chair, because I want to believe that they are questionable, and because I know that one of the requirements of a member of a board is a degree, and I doubt some of the academic qualifications of the members. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to inform my friend and honorable member, Mheshimiwa Katangi, that I happened to have schooled or gone to university together with Madam Cecilia, who is mentioned here as the vice chair at Scott Christian University, and she graduated in the year 2020. I can substantiate for your information, please. Thank you.
Which year?
Madam Speaker, I'm guided, although I was just requesting for more scrutiny.
Yes.
She was appointed in 2018, and she graduated in 2020. So at the point of appointment, she had no degree. So, Madam Speaker, that is a question. It's a matter that needs more scrutiny. Okay. So, Madam Speaker, up to the matter again, the report touches on incompetence of the members mentioned, and some of the members' capacity need to be checked very well. I'm aware that the chairman of the commission was one of the first clerks of the Machakos County Council in the 1970s, who worked with the former President Kenyatta, together with Mulu Mutisia of the times. So, as per our Constitution, Chapter 6, on how the members of the Commission should be removed from office, that is Article 251(1) D, C. That is a matter that needs to be looked at. Again, Mr. Speaker, I'm very hard hit by the fact that some of the commissions are being alleged to have been sexually harassing employees. Those are our sisters and daughters, Madam Speaker, and our wives. Madam Speaker, I have information. The said officer, who is the secretary of the board, was also sacked from TSC years back for the same allegations of sexual harassment. I want to believe that this is a matter that needs to be looked into, because to my view, his sexual appetite cannot be satisfied here in Machakos. So, Madam Speaker, as I finish, I find, according to the allegations that have been thrown to us here, I find these commissioners to have committed crimes against the economy, economic crimes to the people of Machakos for allowing the wage bill of Machakos to 55.4 against 35%. That is permitted by the law. In one way or the other, they have denied development to the people of Machakos because the development budget against the recurrent budget is overriding. And finally, these people have also committed crimes because, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, sorry, we have people who ought to have been employed in our service and they have not been able to do so because of their selfish interests. Then, Madam Speaker, as I finish, the fact that there is a law that permits the board to give report to this county assembly yearly, every December, and it has not been happening. That by itself, it is demeaning and disrespectful to this honorable house. And that alone guarantees for their removal. So, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I support this motion to sail through. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Vincent. Then Mheshimiwa Mudwani after that.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Vincent Mutie, representing the people of Upper Kiowa Ward. This motion that we are deliberating today, it's a very important motion because it raises very weighty matters in regards to the Public Service Board that has been given a very huge responsibility for our people, especially in recruiting and also managing the public service of Machakos County. The allegations, because as they are of now, Madam Speaker, they are allegations until when we get the substantive report confirming that they are things that really happened. But these allegations are grave. As a matter of fact, they are very, very grave to the extent that anybody who is accused of these kind of things need not to wait to be removed from office. They should come out of office themselves. But since this is a house of procedure, we cannot say these people are guilty as charged. That's why it is important to come to the bottom of this matter and determine for sure these things happened. And if they did, the law should take its course. We have in this motion, as highlighted by the majority leader, of members who acted unilaterally, disregarding the law, disregarding the procedures, and even disregarding humanity. Because it is interesting to see that someone will be promoted today and demoted tomorrow. It is also interesting to note that someone decided to become disabled so that he can open a chance for her son. This is shameful. In actual fact, this is a bad precedence that we are setting for our county. It is interesting also if when all of us in here were in school studying hard in order to acquire papers to help us get jobs, some people had already jobs while they were still in school. It is also important to note that when other people do not have salaries, someone decided to allocate themselves an extra 25,000 every month, which they did not deserve. These allegations are grave. These allegations are serious. Therefore, we need, as a house, to know the truth behind these allegations. Madam Speaker, you will realize that if we do not act now, then definitely this mess will continue. If we do not act now, what will become of our girls? What will become of our daughters? If the people who are given the constitutional responsibility are taking advantage of our children. I am a father of daughters, and I would not want my children to face this kind of people in future when they are seeking their jobs. Therefore, I support this motion, because by it we are going to establish the truth, and we are going to restore order in our public service. I also invite the Speaker to guide the House in this process, because on one part, and when we are raising some of these issues, Madam Speaker, we are not raising them as the black sheep of the House. We are raising them so that this House is not put to shame. This House, and Madam Speaker, I invite you to guide this House in this process. Because when we are saying that we are processing this impeachment based on Article 251 of the Constitution, we need also to understand how the process is given in Article 251. It is also important to note that Standing Order 62(8), it gives us the procedure of removing county executive members. Now, I will invite the Speaker to help us understand that is it the same procedure for county executive members? Does it apply also for this Public Service Board? Asking those questions doesn't mean that we oppose the motion, but we want sanity in our public service. Thank you, I support.
Mheshimiwa Andi. Oh, sorry, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much for catching my hairstyle. It is not I. So, you said Mheshimiwa Andi.
I had given the opportunity earlier to Mheshimiwa Modwani, then after him you'll take the floor.
To me?
Yes.
Thank you, and I respect you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your intervention. I respect my Honorable Member Mheshimiwa Andi for upholding your decision. Madam Speaker, I stand here with a lot of authority in support of this very important motion for very simple terms and very simple reasons. Madam Speaker, we sat here in the first assembly and deliberated on the same issues about the inefficacy, the manner in which the previous service board behaved. And similar matters came into being. We made deliberations and recommendations, but that was never actualized. The motion before us, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, the reason as why I support this motion is just simple. I have been following the proceedings of this assembly, the second assembly, regarding the same matter that has been brought here today. Recommendations were made, grave accusations were made, and the recommendations that were made, Madam Speaker, were based on fact findings, on the allegations that have been tabled here today by the majority leader. and nothing was actualized because the appointing authority was the same authority that was given the recommendations to go and deal with the persons who had been accused of these misgivings and these ill-goings, Madam Speaker. So simple, what I want to tell these honorable members is this. Let us pass this motion so that the ad hoc committee can be given again the opportunity to go and scrutinize the same. In fact, I urge them, don't even dig further into doing much work, even as you call the accused to answer to the allegations that have been made here, Madam Speaker. The recommendations are simple and straight. The complainants will be called to come and answer. They will give the same. It is so sad, Madam Speaker. I followed the WhatsApp recordings and messages that were confirmed by Safaricom about the so-called one who was trying to seek sexual favors from one of the employees of this county. And they were authenticated, Madam Speaker. So, even if we repeat the same process 1,000 times, the results will be the same. So I urge this honorable House, Madam Speaker, to go with speed and give us a report so that the honorable Madam Governor can take these people out of office and get the right people. Under the chapter of Bill of Rights, Madam Speaker, they're so employed, have a right to be employed, but the manner in which they ought to be employed must be constitutional. Today, as I stand here, Madam Speaker, I stand with a lot of pain in my heart. Today, there is a family in this county that I cannot mention because it is not a subject of this decision, but I can point. There is a family in this county which has 8 brothers and sisters from the same mother, from the same womb, employed and drawing fat salaries, Madam Speaker. Yet we have families in Machakos County that don't even have one person employed. It's a big shame. The matter of nepotism was recorded in this assembly, Madam Speaker, for the first assembly, the second assembly, so the third assembly should not make a mistake to allow such kind of inequalities and iniquities to continue. I support this motion 100%. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I wish to inform my honorable member from Engineer Kate that the procedure for removal of these officers is well stipulated under under chapter 58 of the County Government Act, subsection 5, for removal of the county public service boards. It clearly says the manner for removal of public service commissioners applies even to the county public service board members. So, Madam Speaker, let this House expedite this motion as fast as possible. The members who have been appointed in that committee are equal to the task. I have no doubt that they are going to give us good and quality results that when we come here we are going to adopt. The impunity in Machakos County must come to an end. And even the incoming board that will take an opportunity to do the same. If they go ahead and do the same, we are going to pass through the same process and make sure they go out. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support the motion.
Thank you, thank you. Mheshimiwa Ndi, and you are the last.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm always the last, but not the least.
Huh?
But not the least.
Who is it?
Thank you. I want to support the motion. The allegations which have been tabled by our majority are grave, gross violation of the Constitution.
Why are members leaving?
Please, you cannot leave because we will lack the quorum.
Yeah, don't leave. We are just winding up this.
Thank you, and I think Mheshimiwa Lucky will handle that. Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I was saying, gross violation of the Constitution is a gross allegation. If it was in other countries like China, North Korea, Rwanda, they would have been shot by a firing squad if found guilty. But because we are a democracy, I think we'll put them through a democratic process to determine their guilt. Similar report was tabled on this House in the second assembly. And by design, it was put under the table. I will also urge our majority to go deeper to that so that we can still go for those who put that matter under the table. Because I want to quote a local musician called Camaro, who said when Jem Kariuki was killed in a song, and I quote it in Kikamba. He said, Camaro, Nvia, ni menete mondolo miadhania, kuteolo mioa. The same people who have prevented...
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Is the honorable member in order to mix language while in the primaries? Yes.
Thank you. I just quoted and I said I quote. I quoted a musician, not me. Yes. And it is in order, Mr. Chair. I want to say majority should go deeper and bring the former members of this house who were used by the previous government to circumvent the outcome of the report and bring them here and face the full music of law. For those who think it is a joke, we are going for everybody. And I want to quote the late minister, my good friend, John Joroge Michuki, who said, and I leave you with this, he said, if you rattle a snake, be ready to be beaten. They will be beaten. Thank you, and I support.
Thank you, members. I now invite the mover to reply.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have listened to members carefully, and I could see the emotion involved, especially where the finances of this county, the image of this county, and everything good about Machakos County has been put into big shame. So I would want to thank members for ventilating on the matter, and I pray that the House will approve the formation of the committee to investigate this matter. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. And I now put the question that this House resolves to recommend removal from office by Governor of the following people. 1, George Kioko Luka, Chairperson, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution, gross misconduct, and incompetence. 2, Mr. Onesmus Muea Mutisia, Secretary, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution, gross misconduct, and incompetence. 3, Ms. Cecilia Mbinya Sereka, Member, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution and gross misconduct. Ms. Stella Nduko Muthoka, Member, Machakos County Public Service Board, on the grounds of serious violation of the Constitution and gross misconduct. And now, members, I wish to state this. This motion requires a threshold of 1/3, that is 20 members, of all members in support. To ascertain this, the voting will be by roll call voting. The clerk will call members one by one. When one is called, you will stand up and vote. Say yes in support or no in contrary. Then the clerk at the table will tally and give results at the end. So I hereby call upon the clerk to call members, and one by one, then they support or
Honorable
disapprove.
Stephen Mwandi.
I support.
Honorable Nicholas Nzioka Kitabi.
I support.
Honorable Judas Ndawambili.
I support.
Honorable Jackson Wambua Ndaka.
I support.
Honorable Raphael Nzau Laki.
I support.
Honorable Francis Kaviu Wambua. Honorable Evelyn Zekinguli. Honorable D. Kivuva Mutisia.
Naunga mkono 100%.
Honorable Gideon Saul Kavu. Honorable Frederick Muya Kitetu.
I support.
Honorable Alphonse Nzioka Mutinda. Honorable Anastasia Mutevu Nundu.
I support.
Honorable Andilo Ndenya. Honorable Benjamin Chule Kinyungu. Honorable Boniface Katiti Chalo. Honorable Boniface Musimi Maeke. Honorable Caroline Mutuku Ndinda. Honorable Catherine Muia Mutio.
I support.
Honorable Catherine Wambua Che. Honorable Charles Muli Mbuva. Honorable Constance Yoki Mbula. Honorable Daniel Muindi Musioka.
I support.
Honorable Daniel Ndwiki Mutinda.
I support.
Honorable Dixon Maundu Musioki. Honorable Dominic Maitha Ndonye.
I support.
Honorable Dominic Dambuki Mulwa. Honorable Douglas Musioka Muema. Honorable Eric Musembi Wambua.
I support.
Honorable Fahia Abdi Haji. Honorable Felix Ngui Mutunga.
I support, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Francis Kitaka Chalo. Honorable Francis Mwaniki Ngunga. Honorable Grace Bahati.
I support.
Honorable Helen Deti Mweni. Honorable Irene Mulumbide.
I support.
Honorable Jeremiah Kaloi. Honorable Joanna Munyao. Honorable Brian Kisila.
I second and support.
Honorable Joseph Mulinge Musioki. Honorable Joshua Monga Kiilu. Honorable Julius Munyoki Mutuku. Honorable Justus Mutuku Mulwa. Honorable Lloyd Mutua. Honorable Margaret Ndalana Modeu. Honorable Mary Kituku Ndenya.
I support.
Honorable Matthew Wilson Dunda. Honorable Matthias Mwasia.
I support.
Honorable Masi Njagi. Honorable Paul Muli Mwanzia. Honorable Paul Musila Mwoki. Honorable Paul Wambua Mutua.
I support.
Honorable Penina Kasangai Kanini. Honorable Peter Kilonzo.
I support.
Honorable Philip Ndolo Mutua. Honorable Phoebe Mawa Koki. Honorable Rose Wavinya Benjamin. Honorable Rosina Wambua Kanini. Honorable Ruth Wanjiru Kamau.
In support.
Honorable Vincent Nzioka Mutie.
I vote yes.
Honorable Winfred Mutua Sionindi.
Anastasia, did you vote? Or you are here? Okay. Okay, members, these are the results. Yes are 23, no are 0. Abstain are 0. Yes, have it. Ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, approval of appointment of members to serve in the Select Committee on Impeachment of some members of the Machakos County Public Service Board.
I invite Honorable Jackson Daka to proceed and move the motion. Honorable Ndaka, proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Ndaka, representing the people of Tala Ward. Honorable Speaker, thus aware of the Standing Order 62, Sub-Order 8, state that if a motion on a removal of a board member is supported by at least 1/3 of all members of the Assembly, shall in the same sitting appoint a select committee comprising of 5 members appointed on the basis of relative majorities of the seat held by each of the Assembly parties to investigate on the matter. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that, pursuant to the provision of the Standing Order 62, Sub-Order 8, the House approve the appointment of the following members to serve in the Select Committee investigating the matter mentioned in the motion, recommending removal from office by the Governor of the members of the County Public Service Board. The members are: 1, Honorable Stephen Mwandi, Wiper Democratic Movement Party; 2, Honorable Raphael Zaulaki, Wiper Democratic Movement Party of Kenya; 3, Honorable Brian Kisila, Mandlio Chap Chap; 4, Honorable Philip Ndolo of UDA; 5, Honorable Grace Bahati, Independent. I wish to thank the members for voting in support of the motion, and at this point, I would like to invite Honorable Ann to second the motion.
Honorable Anastasia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support the motion, and the members elected here, they are equal to the task. We'll be looking forward for them to bring us a very positive report soonest possible. Thank you. I support the motion.
Thank you. I now propose the question that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 62(8), this House approves the appointment of the following members to serve in the Select Committee investigating the matter mentioned on the motion, recommending removal from office by Governor of some members of the County Public Service Board. 1, Honorable Stephen Mwandi, Honorable Raphael Zao Laki, Honorable Brian Kisila, Honorable Philip Ndolo. I think there is a name left. Honorable Grace Bahati. I now invite members to debate the motion. Members, it's your time.
Sorry?
Yes, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just want to say that the membership is well thought of, because one, I can see Honorable Brian Kisila, who is a ranking member in that committee, and even in today's, in his contribution, he suggested that he could be having a lot of information, so it's going to be very useful. And I also don't forget to mention that we said we are one house, and we picked members across board, and also we checked on the gender. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I now invite the mover to reply.
Madam Speaker, I now take this opportunity first to thank you and to thank the members and to ask the members, this is a matter which has a lot of weight in management of our service and the employee we have in our county. Members, it is now our high time to think big and to think out of the box. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I now put the question that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 62.8, this House approves the appointment of the following members to serve in the Select Committee investigating the matter mentioned on the motion recommending removal from office by the Governor of some members of the County Public Service Board. 1, Honorable Stephen Mwandi, Honorable Raphael Nzao Laki, Honorable Brian Kisila, Honorable Philip Ndolo, and Honorable Grace Bahati. And as many as are of the opinions say ayes. Ayes. And as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Pursuant to Standing Order 62.8A, the Select Committee now are appointed as 10 days to report in the House. And the House is now adjourned to Wednesday, the 16th November 2022 at 10 a.m.